if you only get 2 leads a month, you have to work for all of them to maintain or to even have a chance or a shot at hitting your break-even point. You know, unless you're surviving on bread and water and you live under a rock, right? And you ride a pedal bike to work or whatever. Like, you're going to have some reasonably, acceptable running costs, and your business needs to provide that for you at a minimum. I've had some guys that go, well, I only had 15 leads last year. And so what that tells me is when I look at the revenue target, it's like, forget about the revenue target, dude. We got to recalibrate the whole advertising and marketing program. How old are you going to be before you start to experience life like you want it? I want to tell you right now, whether you like it or not, there is a better way to do business. Hi everyone, welcome to the Business for Builders podcast. My name's Max, and I'm the CEO here at Smith & Sons in Canada, and I'm the founder of EliteBusinessAdvisory.com, your place for customized coaching for contractors. Hey, great to have you with us. If you're a long-time listener, appreciate you chiming in again, having a listen, lending me your ear. If you're a first-time listener, I appreciate you checking us out. So hopefully you'll walk away with something tucked under your arm that you can use to make your business more betterer. I'm not a very educated guy, but I'll give it a red-hot go. I think we want to always deliver steak and potatoes. Probably before I get off and get cracking on part 3 of our 3-part episodes, our 3-part series on key metrics. Mate, like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Try and be nice. If you've got a question about any of the content here, drop a comment. It'll hit my inbox and I'll be able to get back to you real quick. If you want to chat with me about some customized coaching, Max at EliteBusinessAdvisory.com via email, or you can go to the website and hit the book a consultation button. No obligation. Just have a quick strategy session. I'll bring you as much value as I can possibly do in 30 minutes. And we'll hopefully get some clarity on, maybe what's going on in your business and where you might be able to improve, because we want to improve that bottom line. Get across to Business for Builders VIP Facebook page. Answer the questions. If you're a good sort, I'll let you in. A good place for a good community of guys and gals in the industry. A good place for some, collaboration and some camaraderie there as well. Slowly building that community, which is pretty exciting. So I think that's about it. Don't forget, check us out on TikTok. Get across there. We do a bit of a few of these snippets, which are pretty fun. And it's a great place for you to DM me if you want to just do that. It's a lot simpler. And I'll tell you what, I might be able to just respond to your question. And just do it, on a video for you. So it's probably a bit easier for me rather than typing an email too, just by the way. The other thing that I'm thinking about doing is getting back into Q&As as well, doing a TikTok Q&A. So I know some guys and gals might not be on TikTok, but, we certainly give it a bit of a shot, have some fun there. And I think what we're going to do in the next little while is we want to hit that, on a Friday afternoon if you're on the, Pacific Coast side of North America. And of course, if we do it in the afternoon, the guys and gals down under in NZ, bro, they're going to cop that, probably on their Saturday morning, which is a leisurely Q&A with yours truly. So, hit me up, DM me on TikTok if you want, if you're excited about a Q&A, because that really does, that puts me under the pump, folks, because then I'm live. So let's see if I've got the goods. But we've always had a good time doing it in the past and looking forward to getting back to that as well. Right, let's get cracking. Steak and potatoes. I'm not going to go over what we covered in the last 2 episodes. If you've just chimed in on episode 183, then get back to episode 181 and 182. I'm talking about key metrics within your business, all the way from setting a revenue target right through to reporting on or assessing the performance of our marketing. So I've got about 2, 4, 6, 7 columns I'm going to run through. I've just printed out my spreadsheet, the one that I use to manage my elite business clients, as well as my franchise general contractors within Smith & Sons. So this is not something that I'm trying to sell you. This is something that I use to ensure that my aircraft maintains good airspeed, good altitude, stays on track, make sure the attitude of the aircraft is good, and that it gets me to my destination. So finished off last time talking about your break-even point. And so, we talked about $10,000. If your fixed expenses were $10,000 and your average project profit margin was 30%, then you would need to be invoicing at a rate of $33,000 per month just to break even. You're not making any net profit. So we're going to kick off this morning or today or tonight or wherever you are or whatever time of day it is. And we're going to just quickly cover off, the next column after that is what we call our billables, claims, and invoices for this month. We want to monitor what it is. Like every time I put out an invoice, we're going to want to put that in the column, because if we are shooting for $33,000 just to break even, then we need to be, if we get to the 20th of the month, and I always say to my guys, know your ABCs. Always be closing, always be claiming. If I'm on the 20th of the month and I'm 10 grand short, I'm like, I got to break even this month and I need 10 grand to do it. Where's it coming from? Is it coming from a claim, a stage claim in a build, or is it coming from a contract signing that I can move forward and maybe sign it up on the 28th of the month? I've always got to be looking in advance. The idea of these key metrics is it helps me ascertain where the deficiencies are in the performance of my business this month and where it is that I need to pay attention to bring that performance up and what I've got to do to support that increase. Okay, so if I'm getting to the end of the month, I want to be monitoring where I'm up to at 20 days into the month, and I'm going, right, I'm short or I'm on track, right? Now, further to the fixed expense being $10,000, that creates, based off a 30% margin, that creates $33,000 as my break-even point, then if I am to make a net profit, and let's say it's going to be 12 months of $10,000 is what my fixed expenses are. That means I need to hit $33,000 every month. If I wanted to show a net profit at the end of the year, I advise that you claim or your target be 15% over and above your $33,000, which is roughly $38,000. So in a perfect world, if I wanted to show a 10% net profit at the end of the year, I need to be claiming $38,000 a month if my fixed expenses are 10 grand and if my profit margin is consistently 30%, okay? So those numbers really flow out. Once you put in your fixed expense, it'll automatically tell you what your break-even point is and what your preferred billables or your monthly billable target is, okay? And so this is why it doesn't just, you either run a business by default or you run a business by design. And so what we're doing here is we want to run a business by design. So we don't want to just sit there and hope and pray that we hit our preferred monthly billables target of 38,000. We want to get to the 20th of the month, go, right, I want to get to 38,000, because if I do that consistently, then I will achieve a net profit, which is what it's all about. That we should be getting paid a dividend for us as business owners, taking the risk to operate and own and face the liability that potentially comes with owning and operating a retail-facing business. We should be making, a pretty healthy profit at the end of the year, right? So, all of that is super important. Now I've brought that to your awareness. You need to go and educate yourself. You need to go and think about profit margin. So markup versus margin, okay? Markup is the activity, margin is the result, okay? I gave the example in the last episode. If you haven't checked that episode out, rock back there and have a listen to it. So that's going to then help me understand, based on my fixed expenses, my profit margin, what my break-even point is, and what my monthly billables target should be if I want to be profitable at an industry standard. Okay, and if you're not, this is where we've got to figure out what's in everything that I've just explained in the last two episodes. What is it that's really, not helping me achieve it? Is it my sales? Is it the way I, speak to clients? Do I smell bad when I go out there? Do I have a really clunky system where I'm just winging it every meeting? That sort of thing. I don't have a documented sales process. Those sorts of things. However, what I'm going to quickly move into now, the majority of the reason why guys aren't hitting their overall yearly revenue target is because they are just not getting enough leads. Now, this one could be the one where I cop a bunch of shit, but at the end of the day, if you only get 2 leads a month, you have to work for all of them to maintain or to even have a chance or a shot at hitting your break-even point. Unless you're surviving on bread and water and you live under a rock, right? And you ride a pedal bike to work or whatever. Like, you're going to have some reasonably, acceptable running costs, and your business needs to provide that for you at a minimum. But what I see is, the average general contractor in Smith & Sons group, we get them 100 leads on average per year. And I think we can do better than that. I honestly do. But I've had some guys that go, well, I only had 15 leads last year. And so what that tells me is when I look at the revenue target, it's like, forget about the revenue target, dude. We got to recalibrate the whole advertising and marketing program. And so if I was to just give a bit of an overview, this episode can be mostly around marketing, and then we're going to talk about some of the metrics or the milestones that we're looking for, as far as the outcome. But guys, we're talking about marketing and branding. We're talking about our inquiry management, or because our lead gen would be call to action off the back of our marketing branding. Really, branding is one thing. Lead gen and call to action is separate. Then we've got to have an inquiry or a lead management process, and then we've got to have our estimating and quoting sorted out. And therein lies some challenges as well. Max, how do I quote or estimate? I had to go and do a basics in estimating course at Master Builders in Queensland because it just made sense to me to get the education. What you don't know, you don't know. So I need to go and put myself in an environment where someone can lead me, someone can reveal to me the apparent secrets or educate me and then hold me accountable in the learning process. And so, without that kind of understanding about, pricing for profit, then you may be wasting your time throwing any money at marketing because you're not quoting the jobs at the appropriate profit margin. So, guys and girls, we've got to think about this whole thing holistically. I would encourage you to save the last, 3 episodes, including this one, and then just revisit them, regularly. And just start thinking about, okay, what are the metrics I am going to monitor? And there's ones that I'm, not necessarily monitoring as such, but there's key performance indicators. So they're more KPIs, key metrics. They're pretty similar. But, you've got to be making sure that you've got a 30% gross profit and you've got a 10% net profit. They're two things that will indicate to you whether or not you're doing a good job, on the pricing side of things. But we're going to lean into marketing a little bit. It's a little bit boring, but at the end of the day, your marketing campaigns, if you're in a town like we are of about 45,000 odd people, it'll be split between 2 marketing type initiatives. One will be what we call local area marketing, and the other one will be called digital marketing, okay? So we're talking digital easy. It's like website, YouTube channels, Instagram, social media like Facebook and TikTok and whatever else you can do. And then local area marketing is what we do here. We sponsor the BMX club. We sponsor the guys' high school football. We sponsor the go-kart club where I race at. And, of course, we sponsor the Vernon Vipers, which is, a hockey team in town. And so, we've got billboards on fences, if you like, at the BMX club. They've got little banners they put up at the boys' football. There's banners they put up, and then I run my whole marquee from the Smith & Sons with Smith & Sons decals all over that, plus a banner on the front gate. And then, of course, the Vernon hockey, the Vernon Vipers, I've got 2 16-foot or 5-metre logos under the ice, and then I've got a rink board that's about 5 metres long or 16 feet as well. So, that's all branding and marketing. There's no lead gen, there's no call to action. That's branding. That's branding more so than call to action. So, we probably spend just $10,000 a year, maybe a little bit more on those kind of initiatives. And they're just purely branding. There's no lead gen. We're just driving people back to our website. So the two work together. You can have print media or traditional or local marketing that does drive to your digital. So if for instance, I go to one of my kids' football games and there's a Smith & Sons Remodeling Experts banner that's right on the boundary or thereabouts, and the crowd can see down onto that, they can actually, Google Smith & Sons, because the announcer sometimes, for all your renovations and remodeling needs, call Smith & Sons today. That's what they do as part of their sponsorship deal with us. And people might just jump on their phone and they'll go smithandsons.ca. And then they'll go scroll through, have a listen to the, if they're in between halves or whatever, they might even have a listen to one of the video testimonials there. And then next thing you know, they're on the contact form and they send us, an inquiry. So I think it's not a case of or, it's a case of and. We need local area marketing, which demonstrates to the community that we are not only benefiting from the community, but we're also giving back. So we just had the home show last weekend. Actually, by the time this episode goes out, it would have been a month ago, thereabouts. But, I had a specific pull-up banner and I'm going to give you the inches. Geez, I got crucified by the Aussies on TikTok because I keep talking about feet and inches. But anyway, 84 inches. So it's probably, I don't know, 2.1 high by about 32 inches, which is just under 900 mils wide. And on that, it was like Smith & Sons Remodeling Experts, proud sponsors of the Vernon Vipers, Fulton Maroons, the Go-Kart Club, and also the Vernon BMX, right? And the reason is because at a home show, I don't want to be just the guy who's got commission breath that just wants to get your contact details and try sell something. So, our booth, which was 20 foot by 10 foot, which is 6 meters by 3 meters, like I've got to freaking paraphrase every measurement. It was very much focused on them. We were giving away inflatable hammers. We were giving away straw hats, which were an absolute sellout. And the giveaways, we had other vendors coming to us and other exhibitors going, can I have a straw hat? Very much like a Billabong straw hat you might get. The guys down under would be familiar with those. But it was very much, and we had a jelly bean competition. Maybe I should do a podcast on what we did at the home show. That would be maybe a good 15, 20-minute spiel. But I won't get into that now. But it was we had all of these 10-year-olds running around with inflatable hammers. And what do you think they're doing? They're bashing the shit out of each other, and it was awesome. Particularly I gave one couple who had two 10-year-old twins, and I looked up at the parents and I said, I really am sorry. I'll apologize in advance, but this is going to get freaky. And, and of course, then we had kids running up to us on Sunday afternoon going, have you got any hammers left? And we gave away 100. We probably gave away 70 odd, straw hats as well. So, there's that's local marketing, guys. And I may have been of the opinion early on that it was all about digital. But now my opinion is that it's both, And so if you're in a town like this, you need to be a standout. So there was a couple of other builders there, but they saw all of these people who are walking through the exhibition or the home show running around with my brand. And I don't know what it was saying to them, but they're saying, well, that was pretty cool. I wish I'd have thought of that. So, it's very important that we are generous in our approach. If we are going to demand a premium, which Smith & Sons do, we are a boutique renovation and remodel type company. And we pride ourselves in delivering construction services at the highest level. So then we have to be generous up front to build the brand so that people get to know, like, and trust us. Anyway, totally going into a marketing spiel. Anyway, that's local area marketing. Then there's digital, okay? The purpose of digital marketing, I own my website, but I don't own YouTube. I don't own Instagram. I don't own Facebook. I don't own TikTok. I don't own Pinterest. I don't own Houzz. So I need all of those items to be driving back to my website because the website is what I control. Okay, so the purpose of what we put out as far as content is to educate, inform, and even entertain. That's the objective. Is your content educational? Is it informative? Is it entertaining? It really makes me ill when a lot of the, just in the last little while, because of the way that the State of the Union is, I've never seen so many ads on Facebook as it relates to builders and general contractors. And the majority are just right-hooking the shit out of people. And I'm telling you, there is nothing educational, entertaining, or informative about you putting ads out telling everyone how good you are and that you should call me today. It's the biggest load of horseshit. I just don't know why you do it. It doesn't work. Don't waste your money. You're better off going to the casino and putting it all on black. That's what I would do. That's my advice to you. Because if you are just right hooking, and I understand if you got to do what you got to do. I get it. But I'm telling you, the people that do business with us, they probably know 80% about what we've got to offer and who we are before they even make a phone call or reach out on a contact form on a website. They are already in a position where they are ready to buy. They're ready to buy. You've just got to tick a few of the boxes. If you're a Smith & Sons operator, that's what you should be ready to do. It's almost like the sales part is very small. Then we move straight into the close phase. That's where you should be. So if you're making your life harder, if you've never done anything in the way of advertising and branding on digital, and all of a sudden you're out there right hooking because people don't know you. So if someone doesn't know you, they're going to be very standoffish. It's natural. It's what they do, okay? And, we've just had, we're coming into spring now, so the snow's melted. It's a little bit cool, but we're going to get amongst it. We're going to do a lot more of that down the camera type stuff, introducing to, some of our new initiatives as far as the selection process is concerned. We've linked up with Home Hardware. They, in our location here in Vernon, they've got a really great a design center where our clients can do the selection, go through the selection process in a very pleasant place. And so we're really excited about that to see what happens. But, guys, we've got to be educational. We've got to be informative. We've got to be entertaining. And people do get to know us. They kind of enjoy what we have to offer. And so, we've got to be monitoring the dollar spend. And then the 3 metrics that we monitor off the back of just correlating the data. How much did I spend on digital this month? How much did I spend on local area marketing, or print media, let's say, this month, okay? Now, I would say my recommendation is at least 1% of your target revenue, okay, per year, and another 1% because someone's going to have to produce the video content for you, okay? Someone like sitting on the other side of this camera right here, okay? Someone's got to do the work, unless you're going to do it or the missus can do it. But I would urge you that, then you've got to think about the mechanics of it, and then you've got to think about the content. What are you going to do? What are you going to say? What are you empathizing? Now, Gary Vaynerchuk has a good saying. I think he wrote a book called Jab, 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 Right Hook. It talks about give value, give value, give value. And the right hook is not a demand. It's still an ask. You've got to ask without any strings attached, okay? Ask with no expectation. Okay, and so that's what the marketing has to do. So we really want to demonstrate the value before we go to an ask. That's what I'd recommend. So based on the performance, it's like, okay, so how do I know? Now, engagement on digital particularly, right? Not so much about the logo under the ice at the hockey rink, right? But more so, if we get engagement, I know that one of our ads in Victoria, it was an ad. It was a right hook. It was an ask for the business, and it had something like 35 or 50 likes on an ad. Okay, that we knew that was going to go well because it did well as an organic post, and we backed that out, and then we redistributed that as a paid piece of advertising. So how we monitor what our dollar, so cumulatively, if we spent $30,000 this year, how do we measure whether or not that $30,000 was well invested? I go, right, this is how you do it. Let me introduce you to CPL, CPL, CAC, and then ROAS, or return on advertising spend. So you've got cost per lead, you've got customer acquisition cost, and you've got return on advertising spend. So if the data has been filled out in this spreadsheet the way it's supposed to be, including your local area marketing, including your digital spend, mind you, as well, in the next 2 columns, it calculates what your cumulative total is, how you've spent that money for the month, and then what's your total as you go through the year. What it's going to give me is, the first thing it's going to give me is cost per lead. The easiest way. Now, you don't need a spreadsheet to do this. If you've got some other way of tracking it, you're putting a note in your, calendar or whatever you do, fine. But all you've got to work out for your cost per lead is you take your advertising cost, divide that by your numbers of leads. That's as easy as it gets. That will tell you what your cost per lead is. I think on average, we probably want to be running, I think our cost per lead, I'm guessing now, I wish I had that board in front of me, but okay, here I am, I'm back. What I had to do, because I know it was just, we're filming this in the first week of April, so the board that we use has been updated. But I want to tell you right now, our cost per lead for the month of March was $60.45. And all we did was take our ad cost and divide that by the numbers of leads that we received. So, I think that you might need to do a search, actually, what's a good cost per lead? But I think you'll find that cost per lead, $60.45 per lead, is actually a pretty impressive cost per lead. I know this, that if we're doing marketing on Facebook and our cost per lead gets to 150, it's like, pull it off, we're done. If it gets to 120, that's a red alert. So overall, with our Google ad spend, our social media, anything that we're doing, our cost per lead right now, or as of the end of March, was $60.45. The next thing is the customer acquisition cost. So this is where we take the ad cost and we divide it by now the numbers of projects. So if you catch us in the second the episode just before, I talked about why we that we do identify the numbers of projects, and that's to help us out with the customer acquisition cost, or the CAC. Now, as of the end of March in 2024, our customer acquisition cost was $351.68. That's what a customer cost us. And then the last one, I'm going to round out here, the return on advertising spend ratio. So to calculate that, what we want to do is take the total contract revenue, okay, and divide that by the ad spend, okay? So now we can do this month by month, because that's a month is a line item. And then, of course, when we get down the end of the year, it'll give us a cumulative overarching average on what our ROAS, or our return on advertising spend, is. So for us, for every dollar of advertising that we do, or that we did in the month of March, what it did is it created about $116 in revenue. And so, if you're monitoring those numbers, and let's say you just started out marketing and you've just got a new agency, or you've just started doing digital, and you're doing a little bit of print media and local sponsorship or what have you, you can watch that ratio increase. You can watch your cost per lead come down. You can watch your customer acquisition cost come down, and it'll start to tell you, or at least the first quarter will give you a baseline, and then the next quarter you can actually see, are we improving? Is our cost per lead going down? In other words, are we obviously resonating? Now, over time, it should get better, because if your marketing is good and your content is good, then it should be resonating more with customers. So in a perfect world, we love it when we see people sharing our content, because it's obviously resonating with them. And so, those three things, cost per lead, customer acquisition cost, and return on advertising spend, those are the little data points that are going to help you in assessing. And now that you've got a benchmark, so that $330 odd for customer acquisition cost per lead, we're at $60, but probably up to $100 per lead is probably acceptable. I know there's one other franchise group in the horticultural industry. They charge their franchisees about $15 per lead. Okay, so that's a good deal. But then they're paying a marketing fund and everything else on top of that as well. So I think that's where it comes down to. If you're not tracking the data, you haven't got it to compare to, so you've just got to make a start. So I'm trying to help you today and give you some of those benchmarks, and give you a little bit of understanding, and give you some context. And then as you march forward, you've got something to refer back to, something to shoot for, and something that's going to give you a little bit of direction as it relates to how you go about, moderating or regulating your marketing fund. And then, you really got to pay attention to, what you're doing as far as the content is concerned. All right, guys and girls, like and subscribe. Leave a comment if you've got questions. Get across to Business for Builders VIP. Answer the questions. If you're a good sort, I'll let you in. Great place, great community for a little bit of collaboration and some camaraderie there. Don't be afraid to ask a question. And guys, if you've got a bit of an answer, a bit of insight, don't be shy. I'm watching what's going on in there. You hear enough from me here. I'm putting that together, so it is a community of guys where you can put your hand up, kind of maybe put your ego aside. And guys, if you're in that, honestly, if I see somebody bad-mouthing in that group, you're out. Done. I've not got time for anyone being a smart ass and just feathering their own egos because they think they know more than everyone else. Come to that group with your ego, check it at the door. If you've got a level of confidence and good understanding in what you do, great. Share your experience, but make sure you've got a level of humility that matches your level of confidence, because what I'm doing here, I'm just here to serve. My legacy is I want to be known for someone that gave back with no expectation in return. Okay, so that's really what that B4B group, that VIP group is all about. It gives us a bit of a safe environment, hopefully, to just chat amongst ourselves. And, if you've got anything that you want, you got any questions there, put them on there, and I'll respond with a video, or maybe I'll have a piece of content, that can help you out. Happy to do that and just contribute a little bit, but that is not a platform for me as such. That is definitely a platform for you guys to learn and grow. Don't forget to check us out on TikTok and, everything else. If you want to email me, Max@Elite Business Advisory, visit the website. If you're considering that you might want to talk to me about customized coaching for contractors, then get across there, check the website out. I really would be open to coaching any type of business because it's all very much metrics. It's the same old. But if you're in the building game, I can definitely rush to you and help you, as a matter of priority for sure. And would love you to go and hit the book a consultation button. I'll give you 30 minutes and I'll invest as much as I can in the success of your business going forward. And I think that would be one of the smartest decisions you could make. Go build a kick-ass business, and I will see you on the next episode. Cheers.